is by doing more of what we love. Because when we focus on doing the things that we love, that give us energy, that excite us, that actually allows us to create the most output and value in the world, and therefore... All right, hello, Nomad Summit. First, how about, thanks Johnny, and let's everyone give it up to Johnny for organizing and hosting and getting us all together. That's, as we get into the presentation, you'll see a little bit of, back in the day, me and Johnny. Anyway, really excited to be here. Any of you that saw the pre-video, that is my brother. Was living in Chiang Mai, had some visa issues, so now I was in Vietnam. Anyway, yeah, really excited to talk to you here today about starting and selling million-dollar online businesses. So let's... All right, so just a little quick intro. My name is Nate Ginsburg. I've been living and working abroad since 2013. Like Johnny mentioned, I sold my FBA business a couple years ago for just under $1 million. Since then, I have invested in 4 other businesses. I love business, but I also think a balanced life is really important. So for me, I love fitness, yoga, gym, biking. Also been to Burning Man the last few years. Yeah, my burners. And now I help entrepreneurs automate, unplug, and scale their businesses to 7 figures. So this is where my story starts. Does anybody know or have an idea of where this picture might be from? Yeah, 100% right. So this is from Pai, a couple hours north of here in northern Thailand. And this was actually a hostel that I was staying at after I taught English for a year in South Korea, and then was backpacking around Southeast Asia on my way home, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And it was while in that hostel that I met this guy, Andrew, who was the first digital nomad that I had ever met. And Andrew introduced me to working online, outsourcing, SEO, internet marketing. And this totally blew my mind. And after meeting Andrew, this was in like 2011, I just knew for sure that that's the kind of life that I wanted for myself. And so, kind of talking with Andrew, he kind of put this idea into my head of building these lead gen websites. And so I got back home, got to work, was so convinced that I was about to make $1 million. Fast forward 6 or so months, the plan did not go how I thought. I ran out of money, had to move back home, which was actually a big catalyst for me, and is when I started building up some freelance income, which allowed me to then, say peace out to America. So this was in October 2013, so a few years ago. And at this point, I was still committed to that same dream of having a business, running it remotely, traveling, and I took off on a one-way ticket to Southeast Asia. So once I came to Asia, that's when things really started to pick up for me, my life, my business. And the biggest reason was community. So being surrounded by and getting to hang out with like-minded people, entrepreneurs like Johnny. We got Justin, one of the co-founders of Empire Flippers, again, one of the sponsors over there. Got my brother, actually, who was the in the Daily Cafe Hustling video. And yeah, hanging out with a community of like-minded people that had similar goals, similar mindsets. This is what first got me into selling on Amazon FBA, which was the first business model that really, I guess, started to do better than okay. So was building that for a couple years. And then, fast forward a few years later, unexpectedly, I had an opportunity to sell my business. And so here's you can see it's an actual Facebook message to a mentor of mine. So it's like the day before, there was a buyer for my business, this big Chinese company. This is like the day before I was flying to China to hopefully, come to an agreement and sell my business. So long story short, came to an agreement and was able to close the sale for $950,000. And I was able to do that because I had built a great team and a great business. So in order to sell your business, there's certain things that you need to have in place operationally, financially. Thankfully, my team and we were on top of it, and so I was able to move forward with that sale. So after selling the business, entered a bit of a existential crisis / introspection. What am I good at? What do I enjoy? What do I do next? So I thought that I wanted to get involved as an investor. And so I thought, okay, to find opportunities, I need to put myself out there more, share my story. One of these up here actually with my man Riley, who is somewhere in the audience. There he is over there. Doing interviews, sharing my story, what I was good at, where I think I could help. And, fast forward to that, the last few years, I have invested and partnered with these three guys. And so these guys, all of them, they're really smart, good guys, really good with their product or service. And, me and my strengths, I'm good at team building, automating, scaling, which is what they wanted help with. And so over the last few years, we've teamed up. All these businesses going really well, which got me thinking if those three guys would, if this is useful for them, maybe some other people would be interested or could get value from some of these services. And so that is what has launched in the last year, Sellerplex, which is my agency that helps other businesses to unplug, automate, and scale to 7 figures. And so, from all of my experience with my own businesses as an investor, I've really found that there's a set playbook that all businesses really follow, whether you're e-commerce or services, software, info, SEO. There's really the same steps and progression that you want to go through to automate, unplug, and ultimately scale your business to 7 figures. And so that is what we will get into now. All right, so step 1 starts with committing to your vision. So this was me after I met Andrew in Pi, back in whatever year it was. After I met Andrew, I knew, I was so sure of the direction that I wanted to be going in, and therefore, fast forward, ups and downs, bumps in the road, but I always knew I was committed to that vision, I knew where I wanted to go, and therefore was able to move forward that way. And, the saying, if you don't know where you're going, you're sure to get there. And, then flipping that, if you are clear on your vision, that is what enables you to take action to move forward. And so critically important is really where it starts. So for those of you that are earlier in your journey, and actually was having a conversation with someone about this over at lunch, the thing with any business model, service, affiliate, FBA, SaaS, there's going to be pros and cons to whatever you get into. And the important thing to know here and be aware is that every business, again, has pros, its cons, and what's important here is being aware of that for, knowing that going into the business model that you choose to pursue. So it's going to be hard. There's going to be struggles. And so really important when you get started is, be aware of what those are so you can love that struggle. For me, I got my start was freelancing, making a couple $1,000s a month. This allowed me to get off and travel, but then, I was really enticed by FBA. I had all these friends that were making all this money, building these big businesses, and then I wanted to do that. Now, kind of coming back full circle after I sold that business, becoming well aware of the pros and cons of that business model. Now the businesses that I'm currently involved in are overwhelmingly service and consulting. And so there's no right or wrong. You can have success with any business you choose. Again, just being aware of what those cons are so that you can really learn to love them. So with this presentation, I want this to be actionable and beneficial for all of you. And so after each section, there's an action item. And the first action item for setting your vision is doing quarterly planning. So this as a template will be available for download. You can get the links to download it later. And this is something that I do with all the businesses that I'm a part of. So necessarily as an investor advisor, as well as the ones that I'm running, at the beginning of every quarter, we go through this quarterly planning sheet. So don't need to overcomplicate things. Most important is being clear on what that big vision is, which can change, that's okay, but every 3 months is a good time to refresh and check in if you're going in the direction that you want to be. And then from that, identifying just your top 5, so 5 key things that you want to accomplish that quarter, as well as the one big thing. So the one thing that if you do this, then the quarter will be a success, and if you do everything else, it won't be a success, or you're not going to move forward like you want to. So this thing, really, really important. Encourage all of you to do this, and is also something, I'm hosting a workshop on Monday, and we'll be going through this and the rest of the different sections and action items together, if that's something that you are interested in. All right, so you got your vision, you know where you're going. Next is getting your business organized. So like Josh talked about, critically important step is starting to organize your business. So for me, when my e-commerce business was taking off, there was like a 6-month stretch when our sales were doubling every month, and finally ending in our first 6-figure month in December. This was really exciting, but also, honestly, it was hectic, it was stressful. I remember staying up late on calls with forwarders, trying to get shipments cleared, stressing about cash flow, maxing out my credit cards, worried about staying in stock. And I knew that the business was growing, which was exciting, but I knew that this wasn't sustainable. So I had to dive into the business, get things organized so that it could continue to grow. So here is a quick example of an SOP. Don't need to spend too much time. Josh did a really good job covering these. The point is just documenting something. It doesn't have to look nice. It could be a tech stock. It could be a Loom video. What I like to do personally is, I don't like creating SOPs, but I don't mind recording videos. And so for me, I'll record a video walking through this or that, then give that to my team, and then have them create the SOP. So action item 4, step number 2 is create any SOP for your business. I think starting with the most repeatable, most easily delegatable stuff is a good place to start. And just get something documented. That's going to make it easier for you to perform, going to make it easier for you to delegate to someone else, and like Josh also mentioned, it's going to increase the value of your business when you sell it, because it's going to be more easily transferable, and a buyer knows that they can come in and continue having success running the business. All right, so you've got your SOPs, got your vision. Now it's time to build out your team. So for me, if there's one skill that I've learned over the years that's contributed to any success that I've achieved, it's my ability to hire and work with amazing people. And so, like I said, with my business, it was growing. I started to get it organized. Then I started building out my team, and I actually hired people that were way better at their different roles than I was. For example, our finances, our supply chain operations. I'm actually not the most naturally organized, systemized person. And so I know that when I'm hiring people, I need to get people around me that are. And so that's what I did. They, played the huge role in actually getting my business organized. So when I had the opportunity to sell, we could, and I was able to take advantage of that. So a couple things here. This could stay on this topic for a long time. You can get the cliff notes here. Again, if you want, all the juicy details, come to my workshop on Monday. So it starts with your organizational chart. And so this here, you want to think about your business from a higher level, and think about the different like buckets or silos of what needs to be done in your business. And so this is a pretty basic organizational chart. You have you at the top, the CEO. You have sales and marketing, operations, and finance. Of course, this is quite simplistic, but is a good place to start, or to start thinking about how you organize your business. And a few things to note here. One is that it's okay to have more than one person doing, in one seat, one person in more than one seat. For example, when it's just you, you're performing, all the functions, and that's okay. As you grow and you get more specialized people to fill those roles that aren't you, it's going to allow you to really grow and improve your business. So also important to note, so you can have one person in more than one seat, but you cannot have two people in one seat. So that's going to create lack of accountability and is recipe for disaster. So you got your org chart. Now let's talk a little bit about getting the right people in to fill it. And so this is something that I've developed over the years that, really works for us in all my businesses, is really building out a hiring funnel. And so when you want to think about hiring and getting the people that you want, it's not just a job post and get responses. You want to think of it like a funnel. You have a lot of people coming in at the top. They go through the different steps, and then out the bottom, you have the most qualified people that, one, help you get the most qualified people, and it's going to save you a ton of time and efficiency. So when you actually have an interview with them, they're already qualified. You already know what they can do, and as opposed to spending your time, wasting your time, talking to all these people that you're never going to work with. So just some quick things and examples, and again, at the workshop, if you come, I'll give you all templates that we use, examples of all my job postings, follow-up questions, etc. So this is one for a job of hiring maybe, I guess this was a couple months ago. The basics of it have a description about the job. Something that I've been doing recently that has been really effective is sharing more about me and my story personally. The people that I hire on my team, they need to be a good skill fit, but equally important, necessarily, they have to be the right culture fit. And so sharing about me, my values, my story, it helps attract the kind of people that resonates with, and those are the ones that I want to work with, and also it makes them want to work with us more, and really self-selecting. And so just one kind of tip there on job posts. So after they go through the first round of questions, you want to send follow-up questions. Good for a couple of reasons. Can get more information about the candidates, as well as it's like a test of their responsiveness. You want to have the follow-up questions can be specific depending on what the role is, but yeah, a couple important reasons why you want to do this. Then after the follow-up questions, give them a test project, and then only after they've done all of that is when you actually get on a call with them. And so what I do after they've gone through all the steps, I'll tell them to send me a message on WhatsApp, and usually I'll send a long rambling voice message about how they look great and I'm excited to work with them, and usually that's how things actually start. All right, so who knows that book on the left, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Yeah, awesome book. So that book, really, really impactful on me and how I thought about business, and really seeing business as an income and cash flow generating machine, as well as what he talks about of how the goal you want to build from self-employed to business owner to investor, and and that's really been hugely influential in how I approach all my businesses, of wanting them to be these cash flow machines. And for me, my partners, or anyone that we work with, helping them to elevate from self-employed to business owner and potentially, to investor. So what about that other book, or that guy, Keith Cunningham? Anyone know who that is? Okay, a few of you. So Keith Cunningham is the man. So Robert Kiyosaki was actually a student of Keith Cunningham. Keith Cunningham extremely successful entrepreneur, 8-figure businesses. I don't totally know his bio, but I've read a ton of his books and really, really good stuff. Highly, highly recommend, especially this one, The Road Less Stupid. And so this book is about the most important actions that you can take as CEO and business owner, or the most important activities that you do. He calls thinking time. And so thinking time is time that you set aside from working in the business and responding, putting out fires, to set time aside, no Wi-Fi, no phone, and think about the business. Think about opportunities, threats, challenges. And in this book, Keith advocates for the most important thinking time that you can do as a business owner is the super sexy reviewing your finances. So this is something also that, again, Josh spoke about that is so true. If you ever want to build a business you can scale, if you ever want a business that you can sell, it's necessarily, you need to be on top of your finances. And so this is something now, Sellerplex, we work with businesses that are preparing and want to sell. And it's surprisingly and unfortunately so common that people come to us, they want to sell, and one of the first parts of our onboarding process is we have to review their finances, because again, this is something that it's not a nice to have. If you want to sell your business, you need to have the proper documentation. It needs to be correct. You need to have a long enough history that you can show the buyer to prove that your business has the value that it says it is. And it's far too common that businesses come to us, we review their finances, they think they're doing it correctly when they're actually not. And then that means, it's okay for us. It's a project, we can clean it up, we can help them, but this takes more time, more money, delays their process. And the point is, you want to get in front of this stuff yesterday, as opposed to right when you want to sell, when it's going to be delay your sale, cost you more money that you're not expecting. So yeah, super, super important, reviewing your finances. So action here, review your monthly profit and loss statement. So also, show of hands, business owners here, who gets a monthly P&L, profit and loss statement, delivered to them by their bookkeeper, by some contractor, for them to review for their business? Okay, cool, some of you. Who has a P&L, puts together a P&L for their business? Okay, a little bit more. So good on you for those of you that are. Those of you that aren't, get on top of this ASAP. Again, this is something like you need to get it done. If you don't do it now, it's just going to cost you more money having to take care of it later and retroactively filling out all this stuff. And not only is it necessary if you ever want to sell your business, this also is like truth and clarity into your business and where the money's coming, where the money's going, and how much profit you're making. And so see at the top there, you have your income and your revenue, the money coming in. And then the bottom section is your expenses, the money coming out. And that number at the bottom, your net income, is your profit. So important for a few reasons. One, it's how much profit your business is making or losing. And that's the number, again, what Josh touched on this, that if you want to sell your business, you're going to get a multiple of that net income. And so the higher that net income, the higher your business value, the more money you make. It's just what you want to be doing. So critically important. Everyone should be doing this for any business. All right, so now that you've got your vision, got your business organized, hired the team to run the business, got on top of your finances, you've got clarity, where your money's coming, where the money's going. Now you can get into the fun stuff. So maximizing value, increasing profit, scaling, more cash flow. And yeah, talk about the private equity playbook to maximize business value. So I was at an event some summers ago and was hanging with this guy, Bernard. And so Bernard, my friend, he works for one of the biggest private equity firms based out of South America. And so for those of you that may not know, a private equity firm is a business that buys other businesses. So their business model, they raise a bunch of money, and they go out and find businesses to acquire, and then once they buy them, they improve them. And Bernard, my friend, he was an analyst for this big private equity firm out of Brazil. And his job, once his company bought another business, it was Bernard's job to come up with the value creation plan. So this was literally the playbook that this like $500 million private equity firm used to increase the value of the business, make it more valuable, increase cash flow. And Bernard, being a good friend, was gracious enough to share that playbook with me. And so the private equity playbook to maximize business value, unlock cash flow. The reality of business is there's really only a handful of levers that you can turn to make your business more valuable and make yourself more money. So those levers are: 1, decreasing expenses, increasing revenue, decreasing accounts receivable, increasing the time of your accounts payable, and finally, efficient inventory. So we don't have time to dive into all the details and strategies now, but can get into a few of these and hopefully find some quick wins for you and your business that you can save money, make more money, increase value today. And so the first is decreasing your expenses. Like Josh was saying, when you go to sell your business, you get, just say, roughly a 30x multiple on your average, on your 30x multiple on your monthly profit. So this means every $1,000 that you save or cut in expenses is going to increase the value of your business by $30,000, potentially more. So really important, really leveraged. And one of the benefits of once you have your finances on point, you have your P&L, you can look through and review ruthlessly all your expenses. And this is something that you want to do every month. We've all bought software that we kind of forgot about that now we're still paying for. And those things, like, it might be small, a small monthly expense itself, but it adds up. And especially when you attach a 30x multiple to it, can be really impactful. So you want to go through, ruthlessly review your P&L, think anything: can you cut? Can you renegotiate? Can you restructure? And when you're doing this, you want to start with the biggest expenses first. So those of you in e-commerce, probably cost of goods, your biggest expense. Handful of different strategies, tactics that you can do to knock that down, decrease that. And the point is starting with the biggest expenses. That's where you have the most opportunity to save. And cut that down. Again, everything that you save, you're going to get a 30 times multiple on, or is going to increase the value of your business by 30 times. All right, so cutting revenue or cutting expenses. Other way is, let's talk about increasing revenue. So these here are different strategies and tactics that these are levers that you can add on to your already existing business. So whatever your business, whatever your model, you're making money, you're making sales, you have customers, you have clients. And these are different things that you can do to add on to what you're already doing to make yourself more money. So real quick run through these. We've got email marketing, one of the most often underutilized ways to generate revenue for your business. Adding in cross-sells and upsells. The easiest customer to sell is someone who's already buying from you. And so think about your customers, who they are, what they want. What else can you provide them that's going to add value to them and then also generate more revenue for your business? Some other ones is better copywriting. So increasing your conversion rates. You have people that are coming to your sales pages, going to your website, they're buying. What can you do to increase that percentage? It's just going to be more sales for you, more money. Also, if you're services or you're selling on the phone, improving your sales process, closing more deals. You're already talking to clients, already talking to prospects. if you close a higher number of them, is going to make you more money. Another one is adding in affiliate deals or negotiating better affiliate deals if you're already an affiliate. You can add additional monetization. So if you're e-commerce, maybe you could also add an info component. Or if you're services, maybe you could add some sort of info or physical product or affiliate. Kind of getting creative. It's easy to get stuck in our business model box of what we're doing and think of it as like that's the business. But really you want to think of this as who are the customers that you're serving, what are their wants, what are their needs, and what else can you provide to them that is going to help them. Another one is raising prices. So this is one, as an investor coming into businesses, one of the first levers that you can play with. It's easy when you're in the business to be really price sensitive yourself and be afraid to raise prices. Most people are undercharging, and another lever that you can look at for your business, increase prices is going to increase your sales and revenue. And last but not least is faster site speed. So again, this is a conversion rate optimization thing, and the slower your site loads, the lower your conversion. So if you can tweak that, more people buy, you make more money. So action, take some of these tactics, go through your P&L, cut expenses, use one of those revenue generating or increasing revenue tactics, and make some more money. That's what we're here for. We want to improve our businesses, take action. Encourage all of you to take one of those strategies and apply it. And again, last plug, or one of the last plugs for the workshop, but if you want my help in working together about how to apply this to your business, then come on Monday. Would love to dive into this with you. All right, finally, level 6, the highest level on the pyramid. So congrats, if or when you get to this point, you've built an amazing business. This is really an accomplishment. Business is hard, it's challenging. When you get to this point, you've set your vision, you've organized your business, you've built your team, got on top of your finances, maxed your value, scaled your business, and now at the top, you have options. So let's take a look at what some of those options are. So you've got a business, it's organized. You now, congratulations, have a sellable asset. And so some times or reasons that it's a good idea or why you should sell your business could be if you see your business has a downward trend, moving forward into the future, you see it going down. If you need the cash, especially with businesses like e-commerce that are so capital intensive to run, you have all this money tied up in the business and you want to get, paid. If you have a good offer, so this is why I sold my business. In short, we had a good offer and I took it. And the last is if you're already excited about pursuing some new opportunity and you just want to get this business off your plate and move on. And so let's look then at why you would want to, or some reasons why you'd want to hold your business. And so this is where I'm much more in the hold bucket now with the businesses that I'm involved with. Maybe we sell one day. I mean, I'm not really thinking about that. The way that I'm trying to build them as stable cash flow and long-term businesses and assets. And so for me and these businesses, we're taking all this work, all this effort to build this business that is going to generate income and cash for me and my partners. And once we have that, I'm happy to just sit on that, enjoy that cash flow, and move on to the next project. So those are reasons why you'd want to hold. If it's, you see a good long-term future, stable, you're enjoying the cash flow. And then last but not least is bucket number 3, which is basically anything else. And so a lot of people, they think that when it comes to their businesses, they have 2 options. You can sell it or you can hold it. And that's really not the case. So there's really an infinite amount of other things that you can do besides just sell the whole thing or keep it all yourself. And a few of those is if you want to exit your business, just personally don't want to be running it anymore, you could hire a CEO. So this is back to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You go from self-employed to business owner. Then you hire a CEO and you move up to investor. There's one option. Another one is if you've built the business to a point where you think you've taken it as far as you can, you're looking for help to grow it faster, bringing on some other people with different skills and experience, and if you want to take some cash off the table, you could go and bring on a strategic investor. So this is something now that I've done as a strategic investor where I've got involved investing in other businesses that they're good businesses, they were going in a good direction, and these guys, they wanted my help. Also, everyone likes money, so they also got to take some cash off the table and are able to now, work with me. I bring my different experiences, different skill set, different network to now keep growing this business, better, faster than they would have otherwise. And last on this list is you can actually go on the offensive and start buying other businesses. So you've built something, you've built this, cash machine. Maybe it's a product launch, maybe it's a Amazon product launch machine, or, an SEO business, or some type of marketing channel that you figured out. You can go and find other businesses that you can actually go and acquire, apply that skill set and infrastructure that you've built with your business to, increase the value of those businesses, grow a bigger pie. So the point here is there's more options than just buying and selling, and what you do with your business it's really up to you. You've built this thing, it's given you options, and depending on what it is that you want, you really can find opportunities that, whatever it is that you want with your business, you can find opportunities. You might have to get a little creative, but you totally can find opportunities to, get you moving and keep going in that direction. Whew. So, all right. So business, obviously, is important. I love business. Income's important, but that's not all that's important. To have a happy life, think balance, health, wealth, relationships, play, and I think all of us, me, you, it's our best opportunity to add value to the world is by doing more of what we love. Because when we focus on doing the things that we love, that give us energy, that excite us, that actually allows us to create the most output and value in the world, and therefore receive the most value in the world. So this is the mission for 2020, and the final action item is maximize your flow. So flow is that state when you're caught up in an activity, you're exercising, playing some sport, doing some task that you're caught up in the moment, you lose track of time, and you just lose yourself in this activity. And by doing those activities, those are those things that give you energy, you enjoy, that you're good at, and by doubling down and maximizing that is going to allow you to be the most productive, have the most output, create the most value in the world, and therefore, again, receive the most value. And so, with all of that in mind, and with the goal of helping you all unplug, automate, scale your business, as well as double down on what you're best at, maximize your flow, I've put together this workshop, which, again, going to be doing on Monday, going through those same 6 steps that we just talked about, as well as a few additional modules. Would love to work with you and help you guys grow your business, unplug, automate your business. Then also we have the landing page if you want to get these slides and get some of those templates that I was sharing. You can go to sellerplex.com/nomad. All right, so that's it. Thanks everyone for listening. Really hope that there's value here, and most importantly, take action. Take something. Download the slides. Use the quarterly planning sheet. Look at your expenses. Cut something. Really, we come here to better ourselves, to build better businesses, and so that's my hope for you. And would love to connect. All the best opportunities in my life have come from the amazing people that I've been able to meet and connect with. So add me on Instagram, shoot me a message. Like I said, I also love yoga and Burning Man, and so if you're into those things in addition to business, shoot me a message. We'd love to chat and help any way that I can. So thanks.
Thank you, Nate. Jerry, I'm coming to you. Do you have a question?
You know me well. So you actually answered a lot of them. So there's only one question, and it was, in your email to, I think, Simon, your mentor, it sounded like the sale of your business was like a surprise. Well, not a surprise, but it came out of like nowhere. So how did they find you?
Yeah, so a little more background on the sale of my business. It was a surprise. I was basically on a call catching up with my business partner, and my business partner, he had sold multiple businesses before, actually to this buyer. It's a big massive Chinese company, and I was on the phone with my partner, and he casually mentioned, "Oh, hey, they might be looking to buy other businesses. Like, are you interested?" Long story short, I was, which that prompted then the flight to China, and one of the main kind of takeaways there was, fortunately, like, I built the business in a way that it was organized. We were already on top of these pieces that I needed to be, so that could successfully move forward with the sale. And so yes, it was a private buyer. It was unexpected, yeah.
Cool. Thanks.